massive blaze from large hoses to hydrants out on the Thousand Oaks on the roof. So we have some challenges there. Obviously, we just got water on it quick with this long, extended time frame of this. We have
And you said part of the roof collapsed. They're still fighting in the attic, so
right. So
partial collapse?
it's a long building. I would say this end from halfway down has collapsed, has completely burned through, and the part that's still standing, they're working to get that fire knocked down in the attic area. Obviously, we had the ladder trucks up that you all saw earlier fighting it defensively. They've since slowed that down and bedded those ladders and put that, and now they're working on trying to get the last remaining fire out offensively going inside and what's still standing of the building.
Any missing pets or anything?
Nothing that we know of as of right now. We're working with apartment management to try to get an accurate count of how many families were impacted. Obviously, 11:30 coming in, it's a great time of day for it. If you're going to have a fire during the workday, obviously less people will be inside the building. There's no good time, obviously, for a fire, but it's better now than in the middle of the night.
It went to a 2-alarm?
It did, yeah. The crews upgraded it to a second alarm pretty quickly just to get those resources on the way.
Any other challenges for firefighters? I know you mentioned the wind.
Yeah, obviously the wind with the cold front blowing in. That wind it's not a wind-driven fire because we're not talking about steady, hard-blowing wind. But the gusts are making it kind of wind-aided, so it's kind of pushed it into the attic area, and that's caused it to grow exponentially. But things we're used to, things we train for. The egress, obviously one way in, one way out, only one entrance and exit to this place makes it tough for us to get resources in here as far as actual fire trucks. But we have what we need, so we're just rotating crews through right now.
At the time of the fire, there were events. Were people knocking on
So
doors?
yeah, we had two crews got here pretty quickly together. One crew started fighting fire, the other crew went into make evacuations. SAPD obviously was here as well, helping us with evacuations.
And lastly, with all that heavy smoke we could barely see coming in.
Right.
Was there any people being treated for smoke?
Not as of now. Fortunately, the breeze does kind of move the smoke. It can get thick for a while, but then it'll dissipate. So it's as of now, nobody's being treated, and no reports of anyone missing. But once we have an accurate count with work with building management, get an exact number of how many units and how many of them were occupied, we can start those processes of accountability.
You'll email us those details later?
What's that?
You'll email us those?
Yeah, I'll send out either I'll put it on Twitter or X, and I'll send it out to you when I have the details. And if you're still here, I'll come. I should know here pretty quickly.
Is there an idea of maybe changing the way that these hoses are very long, so maybe changing?
Right. So what we do, part of our strategy when we have to do this is we put what's called a key pumper. So when it's over 1,000-foot lay, we can put an engine in the middle and we'll pump that water to keep it going because it is a long lay. So you worry about pressure being able to make it all the way to where you need it. So we can put what's called a key pumper in the middle, and they will boost that pressure. They're kind of a pump station, if you will, in the middle of the lay, so they will boost the pressure the rest of the way. It's something we train for and we do quite often.
Joe, I know it has nothing to do with this, but just if you could emphasize with the temperatures dropping,
right?
The safeties with people trying to light a fire.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we're looking at probably the coldest temperatures we've had so far this year, and it's always a concern is if you try to build a fire and that chimney hasn't been cleaned, or if you're using those the fire starter logs. They make sure that screen is in place. If you're using space heaters, that's what we say every year. Make sure they're plugged directly into the wall, not to a power outlet, and there's nothing around them, no blankets, no curtains, anything. And if you leave the room, unplug them. Don't just turn them off. All that can be found at firesafesa.com. All kinds of good safety tips, videos, good things that you can review there.
And lastly, I know it's a little bit getting into the season, but if you could talk about the emphasis about checking those smoke detectors, and if they
absolutely
can't do it, you guys can help them out.
Right. If you make sure your smoke alarms are working, give them that check. Most of them now have a 10-year battery in them, so that you don't have to change it out. But if you have an older one, you change those batteries out. We always say to do it when we change our clocks, but here we are a few months or a month later. Go ahead and check them, make sure they're working. If you need one, you can call 211 and ask through United Way is our partner with that, and ask, and we can come out and install one for you. Again, also at that firesafesa.com, there's a form there you can fill out as well.
And you guys come out and inspect those?
We can, yeah, absolutely. We can come out and do a home safety survey and make sure that things are good.
Firesafesa.org?
Firesafesa.com.
So these apartments do have working chimneys at the fireplaces?
As far as I know, yeah, that's what they said. I don't know. We see the chimneys. I'm assuming they're not just aesthetics, that they're tied to a fireplace. Obviously, this older construction, sometimes they don't have the fire breaks in the attics that are now required in new construction. So that's a challenge, obviously, the fire spreading through there.
So possibly there wasn't that guard for the attic?
The early indication was that the fire was in the fireplace area. That's something that our investigators that are on scene will take a look at if it's able to. Obviously sometimes fires of this magnitude, it's hard to determine exact cause because of the the severity of the damage, but they are going to take a look at it.
And with these being apartments, it should be good to ask the the office to have that looked at, not just yourself, like just do it yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can always go to your management and ask, make sure that the chimneys are being cleaned, and that's something that they can work with you on for sure.
Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Joe, I'm just gonna get that out.
Oh, yeah.
Joe.
No, you're good. Probably need this as well. So you guys, thank you. The early. Is that sign gonna reflect?
One more here, Joe. Kind of backlit over. Perfect.
Oh, I know, it's terrible. We're gonna do water rescues out here, so that's a lot. Hey, Vanessa. Tell her not to walk off. I gotta ask her something. Not yet. I just gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to you about something. Don't take off. Yeah, it's after.
Put back there, Joe.
1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Go ahead. They want to take my live shot. You can get it started. I'll follow up in a second.
Okay. Go ahead.
Joel Harrington, ARRINGTON, Sanitary Fire. Right at 11:30 this morning, we were called out here to the 3900 block of Thousand Oaks for report of a structure fire. Once crews arrived at these apartments behind me, did find heavy fire coming from the first, potentially second floor of the building. They immediately started fire suppression activities as well as evacuations of the neighboring structures. Immediately asked for a second alarm to get more resources on the way here. That's where we're at right now, is working on the fire. The entire building of the fire is involved currently, and Fortunately, there is no report of any injuries. It appears the fire may have started around the chimney area and spread from there. That's something our investigators will look at. That was early indications of that where it was, but they will look at that and make a determination.
Joe, we're heading towards obviously cooler season now.
Sure.
It's kicking in.
Thankfully.
Obviously, it's probably attributed to that. Any advice people
So
want?
it's hard to say exactly what's going on as far as heating safety, whether you're using a fireplace, space heater, whatever that is. Take that time to plan ahead. If you're using a space heater, make sure it's plugged directly into the wall, into a surge protector. Make sure there's nothing flammable around it, whether it's blankets, curtains, anything like that. It needs to be standing alone. And when you leave the room, don't just turn it off, unplug it. If you're going to build a fire in the fireplace, make sure you have hopefully time to get that chimney cleaned. If you are building a fire, make sure the screen is completely across it and nothing flammable in front of it, rugs, anything like that where an ember could pop out and start a fire.
And why is it important to unplug the vented air type heater?
So anything with those things, if you think they're turned off, they may not be, and if they tip over, they can't start a fire. So make sure, double safe. Make sure it's off and unplugged. You don't want any kind of a short or anything like that could lead to a fire. We ask everyone to go to firesafesa.com. It's our fire safety website where there's all kinds of pointers and tips and resources there for not only heating your home safely, but decoration safety and cooking safety, obviously coming up on Thanksgiving.
You said it was one building that was affected?
As of right now, yeah, we have one building impacted. The entire building is impacted. A large portion, at least half of it, has been completely destroyed.
About how many units, I guess?
Hard to say. I would say at least 8, but I will get that number from apartment management when I can.
What was the cause?
So still undetermined. Obviously, investigators are here. It looks like it started near the fireplace area. We don't know if that was the reason for it or just happened to be in that area. But the investigators are here. They'll take a look at it if they can determine it. A lot of times when there's such extensive damage like this, we just have to carry it as undetermined. But fortunately, hopefully, they'll be able to get in there and take a look. And
So
say
one
exactly.
building is a total loss.
I will say one building is going to be a total loss. Obviously, at least half of it has burned through and collapsed, and the other half that's still standing, there is fire inside that as
And
well.
was it just one building that was evacuated, or just the whole?
So we
complex?
evacuated the neighboring structures as well as a precaution. Obviously, with the wind, it wasn't what we would call a wind-driven fire, but definitely wind-aided. With the wind gusts, this cold front blowing in, the gusty conditions, we're moving the fire into the attic area and all that. So, as a precaution, we evacuated the area surrounding the building that was impacted as well.
Pets got off safely as well?
No reports of any missing pets. Obviously, that's something that if someone's at work, we won't know about till later, but no early indications of anything missing.
No injuries whatsoever.
None reported as of now. Obviously, we had some seriously smoky conditions and wanted to make sure people stayed out of that smoke, but fortunately, the breeze kind of moved it out of here pretty quickly. So
How many alarm fire was it?
it went to a second alarm fire.
Thank you.
I'm not sure where you put it.